Hello there. As you all know, the United Kingdom left the European Union on January 31st in 2020. 3 years later, the UK is suffering from an economic and political hangover. Take back control was the battle cry of the Brexit advocates. And 3 years later, it looks more like the UK has lost control of much on the island. The NHS health service is in shambles, lacking staff and money. The Brexiteers once advertised sending millions of pounds to the hospitals instead of to Brussels after the exit, the red bus and the 350 million. And saying goodbye to the much maligned EU freedom of movement is one of the reasons why there is a lack of staff, not only in the clinics, but also in the trucks. The economy is shrinking, and the prospect of lucrative trade deals with countries outside the EU that the pro-exit campaign promised in their campaign has largely remained a pipe dream. According to the IMF, the economic prospects of the once proud Great Britain have slipped to last place in the G7, and this is a catastrophe, not only for the British. In 2016, Great Britain was still Germany's third largest export market, but the country is now in 8th place. And things will get even more difficult for the economy once the British embark on their plan to replace the old EU rules with their own. This will create new trade barriers and new chaos. The joy of doing business with the island is likely to continue to melt away on the continent. Politically, too, the British seem to be slipping out of control on many issues. The third Conservative head of government is now trying to reinterpret and rewrite the special EU rules for Northern Ireland that they themselves negotiated. Hi Bojo. The Tory Prime Ministers are hand in hand in Downing Street. Their party is on the way to self-dismemberment. The Brexiteers do not want to be reminded of their promises of salvation. I'm sorry, I'm doing this every day now. After all, what is useless is still good as a deterrent example. The Brexit quarrels are likely to have significantly reduced the desire of the far-right French woman Marine Le Pen and her Italian friends to leave the EU. And maybe even the idiots in the AfD in Germany will learn it. But Schadenfreude is not appropriate. It also helps Germany and the EU if they once in the distant future have a reliable, reasonable partner across the channel. The British once stood for political reason, and it will take time for sanity to return and for the British to regain control of their politics. But sometimes we have to be optimists. So someday sanity will return to Britain. That is the hope we all must hold up. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.